Wounded Fox.
Yes, hello.
In Boston.
Cosmic Nihilist.
Hey, are you the person you called in last time, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
So what's funny?
Great to talk to you guys again.
It's good talking
I
to
love you. I can't express how much love I have for you guys. It's beyond words.
Oh, shucks. So there were people who were saying in the comments about that show when you called and you said, well, you disagreed about nihilism. And the funny thing is I saw that you left a comment under that video that said, hey, you know what?
I made sure to comment that I got that wrong. I heard you wrong initially. And so I apologize for that because you actually got it completely right when you first described it.
Well, cheers.
No worries.
It definitely is something that I wish more people were able to do because it's absolutely okay to say, hey, you know what? I fucked up. And I wish more people did it. So cheers to you. But what did you want to talk about today?
I mean, you have to. I mean, like, if you're going to be like a real person, I'm not like F being a real man, but like if you're going to be a real person, you got to admit when you're wrong so you can be right again.
That's right. And then learn that you were probably wrong again. But what did you want to talk about today?
Okay. My one today is that it's okay. I'm going to start with a really short story. I'm going to cut this down major. All right.
Okay.
All, my journey to
just as an obligation, as a host, I'm going to try and make sure that we're steered in a way that we're engaging with you. So just keep that in mind. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. Very short story. My journey to nihilism was originally I started as a congregational Protestant, which is about as loose as a religion as you can get before you just don't have one anymore. And so a lot of what I was taught was that the Bible was an allegory. Like I never got taught that was the word. And to be completely honest, I was never that religious to begin with. I wanted to stay home and play video games. But I had a perfect attendance in Sunday school all the way up to 8th grade. And then I had a choice after being confirmed of what I wanted to do as an adult in the church, so I decided to leave. And after that, it just became a simple thing of it's so obvious that every religion, every single one of them is based on the zodiac calendar because way back we thought the sun was God, and we followed that. The sun stops lowering in the sky on December 25th. It stays there for 2 days, and then it starts rising in the sky again.
Right,
There's a story of the Star Child.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm all done with that. Anywho, yes, sir.
I'm just going to be pedantic.
I'm on the spectrum of Asperger's, so if I ramble, I'm really sorry about that.
That's okay, as long as you understand that I'm not trying to be offensive when I jump in. I do
of course not.
Disagree in a pedantic way, and I just wanted to plant that quick flag that religions start for different reasons, but a lot of them do come from observations about the natural world.
Yeah.
So for sure, I just would not... there's a flag that comes up every time I hear...
That was a very glib statement that I did. I oversimplified like crazy.
Well, every time I hear always and never, my immediate reaction is to be like, but always? So, but go ahead.
There is no always and never. It's good, bad, always, never, evil. Good, they're all artificial constructs.
They are. Doesn't mean they're not useful.
The thing that I wanted to say is that, even by a lot of atheists look down on nihilists, and I've heard multiple times from certain people that they consider nihilism almost like a safety net for someone who's just become atheist. It's like if you become an atheist, it's like, oh, I just figured out that God doesn't exist, or I don't believe that God exists, so therefore nothing must mean anything. And it's like, oh my God, that is so not the right.
No,
way to put that. It's very insulting because I'm like, if anything, it's removing the safety net.
Right.
It's just saying that in the cosmos, looking at all of this, what the hell makes us special?
Exactly.
And all I can say is all that does is life, not necessarily human life, but life.
Yeah,
is important.
And it is because we've decided that it is.
Exactly. And it's kind of built into our programming that it has to be, otherwise we die. And when we don't want to, because our programming says, hey, that's the end of the day, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, continue. No, you first.
No, I was just going to summarize what you were saying. The idea that nihilism is giving up is kind of analogous to when somebody says, oh, you don't believe in creation. That means you think everything was a random accident. No, that is a false dichotomy. Just because I don't think that
do I think everything is. It's like, do I think everything is chaos and it's all pinballs bouncing around like nonsensically? Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Really?
But that nonsensicalness finds a way, and it works. That's what the universe does. Like, it finds a way to like when we recently found these bacterium that can actually survive in cyanide. They actually use cyanide as part of their cellular structure, something that would immediately kill humans. That's alien life on our planet. So it's like, in the words of Ian Malcolm, life finds a way.
It does. It finds. So I do want to kind of summarize that just a little bit. You know, when we're talking about nihilism, it is not this exact. You know, it just because there's not a grand creator that imbued you with purpose does not mean that there is no purpose. It just means that was a bullshit idea in the first place. Yeah, it's the same as when somebody says, "Oh, well, when you die, you're going to get to go to heaven and you're going to see grandma again. You're going to see all your pets and all of that." You know, it's this thing that you get sold on.
It's like, okay, but what are they going to look like?
Well,
when I get to heaven, are they going to look like how I remember them? Or are they going to look like the way they want to be?
But that's a bit of a rabbit trail from this specific point, but I agree.
For me, for that, I just always say that because it messes people up when they're talking about heaven.
Sure.
I'm like, doesn't that mean everyone has to have a personal heaven, like their own personal heaven?
Agreed.
Like, because the way that you see people isn't necessarily who they are. It's just your concept of what they are. Like when you dream of somebody, that's not actually them. It's your idea of them. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. If this wasn't a show, I would follow you down that. The reason that I'm bringing it up is to kind of support the idea that you can get sold on something that isn't there. And if you're sold on this idea of a grand purpose, that doesn't mean that it exists. And it doesn't mean that without it, there is nothing. Well,
yes.
Okay, I said that real poorly.
I would like
that nothing isn't a bad thing. So just really quickly, when we decide that something has purpose, that's okay. That's enough. And that doesn't mean that all of a sudden you have subjective, morality where people, can just absolutely justify bigotry and hatred.
Doesn't that make it more important because it's yours?
Yes, and we agree on it. We're building the society on it. And without us, it's not going to happen. And that's anyway, your question, and then we're probably going to move on.
My last one was what is your opinion on this thing that's been driving me crazy? There's I think, therefore I am. But then there's I think, therefore I am not. In a sense that if something was born and given a purpose and discovered that single purpose, you actually no longer have a purpose because you've been given this one singular thing. Therefore, any other purpose that you could serve is void. And I was wondering what your opinion on that would be.
So cogito ergo sum was a different point that was being made, but I definitely get yours, and I immediately jump to, I know I need to get my fedora for this, Rick and Morty, right? There we go. So in Rick and Morty, a super cool show.
I identify with Rick and Dr. Manhattan too much.
Well, so here's the thing: is that there's a butter passing robot that's created, and the idea.
My purpose?
Yeah, what
butter?
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, the fact is it is so much better that without that purpose, you can do everything else. You don't just pass fucking
Take the universe
butter
for a ride.
That's right. And I think that's awesome.
I love you, dude.
I love you too, brother. All right, man. We are going to move on.
I'm so glad you guys are out here spreading this mindset because so many people need it, especially around where you guys are. You guys have convinced me that I want to move to Austin and help you guys out in a major way because I think that what you're doing is such a great thing.
I see more than one person in this audience that made that decision exactly. And it doesn't matter if you do move here or not. We are your community. And we're growing.
Thank you so much, man. That actually means a lot to hear.
In other words, you are not special, but we love you very much.
Yes!
I hate bringing up that I'm on the spectrum, but, having Asperger's, you feel like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit everywhere. Not just religion, but everywhere. So it feels really good to feel like I've got a team. somewhere.
Hopefully hopefully we can make this a world where saying I'm on spectrum. Oh, you're getting love rings from the back.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can make this a world where less people are so upset and afraid of mental illness that you can say, hey, I'm on spectrum. And that's just fine. We all have our shit. And V, you just wrapped that in a perfect bow. You're not special, and that's wonderful. You're not so
you're
unique.
Not special, which you're not a beautiful, wonderful snowflake, but you're not your fucking khakis.
That's right. That's right. You're not so unique that you are uniquely unlovable.
Or you're just as unique as everybody else.
Yeah. And that relationship that may not have worked out, that wasn't the one, because they're not that fucking special either.
To quote Rick Sanchez, when you know nothing matters, the universe is yours.
There we go. All right.
Awesome.
Take care, man. Thank you for calling in.
On that, I'll leave. You guys have another awesome show that I am going to watch incredibly and enjoy.
Cheers.
Because cognitive dissonance makes me laugh.
Thank you, man. Take care. Sorry, when I hear about Rick and Morty, when I think about Rick and Morty, it's a great show, but it gets.
But you need the fedora when you're talking about it.
It got picked up into this internet, atheist idea that you wear the fedora, milady, the neck beard, and the whole, right? I vape. I quit smoking, and so now I know I can't be a vegan or CrossFit, or else I would just collapse into this.
Douche.
This neutron star of douchiness, and it's bad enough.
Oh my God.
This is not Talk Vegan. Do not call us ethical vegans.